So when you're going through the draft process, you obviously played in Summer League last year, went through the whole draft process. When did you kind of decide that overseas was the right call? I know you're a man of culture. You had a good time. I saw your Snapchat stories traveling around by yourself or whatever. Was that a key motivator, or was it just kind of like you just, I don't know. What was that decision? What was the thought process through that?
Honestly, it was kind of a super last minute decision. So I went through the whole Summer League process, like you said, and everything. Then afterwards, I kind of reflected, and I was like, I was really just like hell bent on like, I'm staying in the States. I know like I'll do whatever to be over here and do what I want to do. Whereas some advice came to me from a good friend. So my mother, and Emmanuel Quickly, his mom, they were very close, and they were saying, just always be open for anything. So, I just decided to open up my options and see what's overseas. And that was honestly like a really good club, a really good opportunity, good teammates, all of these things. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to be open to just doing this. And once I told the team, I was like, cool, I'm all in. They were like, all right, great. So like, say this happened on a Sunday, Monday type deal. I was like, all right, great. They were like, we need you here by Friday, Saturday. And I was like, oh, shit. All right, let me just throw my whole life in the bag and, just pack up. So it was a really last-minute split decision, but I think it was a really great decision as well. I think it definitely helped me grow not only as a player but as a person too.
Did Matt Coleman, like Diedrich playing the year before, and Matt Coleman being there when you got there, did that play a role in it? Like just kind of making you a little bit more comfortable?
For sure. It definitely did. Because, everybody's about comfortable. I was like, I knew Matt. I hit Matt up. I was like, yo, what's good? Is this the team that you're playing for? And he's like, yeah. I was like, yo, bro, we finna be on the same team. He's like, we already got the chemistry. We was in high school. We already knew how I rock. Another player that I knew of, but I didn't have, like, the closest connection, I just texted Jordan Usher. Like, I knew of him, so we came all on the scene. We were all young athletes. Like, some played G League, and some played college. So we were both like all young Americans. So we all kind of bonded over that while we were over there. And I think it was just kind of a interesting kind of, aspect. We all kind of had the same point of view. It was all of our first seasons overseas as well. So we're going to go through this and we're going to go through it together.
What was your biggest, welcome to overseas basketball? Like, I know it's very different than being at KU, and I can say that from experience. But what was your biggest welcome to Europe, welcome to something new?
Bro, honestly, it's crazy. Like, one of the wildest things is probably like the practice schedule. Like, no bullshit, right? So, we all of us are used to like boot camp. We're like, all right, fuck, we gotta do the running, we gotta do this. All season long, we had 2 a days, sometimes 3 a days. I kid you not, I can't make it up. It's like, it was just so different. So we'll get up, we'll do our lift, then we'll do like the basketball development, then it'll be like another kind of like practice run through type deal, maybe a little bit of conditioning. You'll go back to the crib. I usually probably nap, try to get something to eat. Then we'll come back and we'll have a full blown practice again. And then sometimes that'll be the 2 a day, sometimes the 3 a day. They'll schedule it when it'll be lift conditioning in the morning. You'll come back afternoon, which is shooting drill work. And you think that usually takes about an hour? Nah, sometimes that'll be like hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Damn near a whole practice. Then you'll come back at night. You'll get in the gym at like 7 o'clock at night, do a full-blown practice again. Sometimes, depending on what time in the season it was, whether it's later or earlier, it could be, 2 hours, or it could be 2.5, closer to 3. Getting out of the gym at like 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night. And I'm just like, bro, this is something I've never thought before. Like, it's wild. It's almost a mindset of like, if we practice 3 hours and we win by 15, that means if we practice if we practice 6 hours, we'll win by 30. It's like the more add-on is the better.
Yeah. What you were telling us a little bit beforehand, the passion that overseas fans have for basketball, and you played at a place at KU that has a ton of passion. The fans are super into it, but like the story you told us was over the top. Like, tell the fans about that one.
Yo, all right. So, I love Rock Chalk Nation for sure. One of the most diehard fans wherever you go. Actually, I didn't even tell you all this. Fun fact: I was in a game. It was one of the games I actually didn't play that game. I think I was out because of back spasms or whatever. But as I'm walking through, I think it was during halftime or warm up. All I hear is, Dave, what up? And I was like, all right, cool. Like, it's one of the fans. But the English sounded great. So then I turn and I look. I kid you not. It might be the same shirt that you got on, Mitch. Full-blown Kansas fans all the way Turkey. And I was like, yo, we are really global, like, worldwide fans everywhere. And I was like, yo, this is tough. Like, it really meant something special, to be honest with you. I don't remember who they are. I didn't get a chance to meet them. They dipped out before I got a chance to meet them, but shout out to them for sure. But no, so the rivalry in the fans over is crazy. So they always told us, like, if you're gonna have some visitors come to only home games because it gets hectic. You can't opposing visitors in the gym just because it gets like hectic. It'll go back and forth. They'll go back and like some things might get physical. And I thought it was like an exaggeration, like maybe they'll throw a beer can or something like that, like something common. No. So I asked them, they said we have a rivalry game. It was like an hour away or whatever. So I'm like, no, can I have people come to the game? They're like, no, definitely not this game. Any game that I had like family or somebody come to, it was definitely home games. And I made sure they were in a protected, solid spot because that's just baffling. Like they take the rivalry serious. Like I've seen Jayhawk tattoos, but like our mascot was an eagle. I've seen full-blown eagles on the people's backs, necks, all of that. They're very diehard.
That's insane.
And I never thought about that until I saw a clip of Jokic maybe saying it early in the playoffs this year. They're like, "Is that the best environment you played in?" He was like, "Brother, I played in Serbia," and they showed the picture of their arena, and he was standing at half court, and they're lighting off flares and doing these crazy chants.
Oh.
It looked like a riot more than it looked like a basketball game.
So one of the things, all right, so our very first game, again, I swear Big 12, Kansas is everywhere. Our very first game, we traveled to France, and we played a team called Charlet. Perry Ellis was on the team, actually. So shout out to P. Ellis. He had a great game, but I don't team because we lost by like 30. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had my game, but like it was crazy. So you'll hear the music and stuff before tip off, and this is another like kind of wake up moment. I was like, I'm really in Europe because when the ball is tipped up, everything goes silent. It's all about the game. No, as soon as the ball is up, the game is going. The band is still banging drums. They're still making loud whistles. They're still doing like everything, and I'm like, yo, this is not gonna stop. And like, if you taunt the crowd, they'll throw like pennies, quarters, whatever onto the court. And I'm just like, one time I picked it up and I like tried to hand it to the ref, and I was like, are you gonna do anything about this? And he was like, yeah, nah, just go ahead and throw it off to the side. He's like, this is normal. And I was like, oh, all right, well, I'll just keep it pushing. But it was definitely a big introduction. But I do love the crowd and love the energy.
The thing for me that I like being in Germany was there's kids, like little kids that come to the game. Like families bring their kids and their friends and stuff to games, and they're at the games, and like in the warm ups they're playing all American rap, and like these kids don't speak a word of English, but they're singing these rap songs, and they're singing, and they play the explicit versions. So like we're sitting there, and I'm like, this little kid is like rapping, like 8 years old on the sidelines, like singing every word to this like real rap, and I'm like, oh, you don't know what you're saying. Like,
and not the slightest clue. They're just gunning off. They're like, yeah, no, this is my favorite song. And I was like, if you realize the things that you were saying, you would have to stop. Like there's no way. But it's crazy. Easily. They're like, no. And I'm like, no.
You
guys were talking about you were talking about the practice schedule. I worked out with a bunch of like players that went overseas when I was in high school, and they were talking about the conditioning test you have to do right when you get there. Did you guys have to do that when you guys got overseas?
For sure. I had to do like a full body strength and conditioning test. It was just kind of like all body weight stuff. It was like how many push-ups you can do and like however many times, pull up, kind of like wall sit, squat endurance, just to kind of see like any type of muscle endurance. And then afterwards you went straight in your conditioning test to see how fast and how you can run while your muscles are fatigued. And then based off of that, they wrote a specific strength and conditioning program.
Mine was a little different. I did as soon as I showed up, they took me. I'd flown the entire day, and I was it was like a 30-hour travel day. And so I land. They take me from. I fly to Paris, and I go from Paris to Stuttgart, and Stuttgart to Kirchheim, and I get to Kirchheim. They take me to this almost like a physical therapist type thing, and they made me do all this physical testing. I had balance, test my flexibility. They would ask if you had any other prior injuries in the past and do all that stuff. But so I'm awake for 32 hours, I think, and I go from the doctor's office. They're like, yeah, you have to practice now, and so it's I'm going on 34 hours of being awake, and I went through a practice, and by the time I got out of that practice, I'm sitting there in the locker room not dying, but as close to being dead tired as I've ever been in my entire life.
Well, you got the jet lag.
There's such jet lag. But honestly, it did the best for me because I was able to stay awake till that next night, and I could sleep my way through, and I could just wake up and be good. But the jet lag going there wasn't as bad as the jet lag coming back. I was waking up when I got back to the States. I was waking up at 3 a.m. I'm sure, Dave, you're still going through this.
Bro, I was actually the opposite. Going there, I didn't go to sleep. So I got there, and when I touched down, I'm like, all right, cool, we'll get you some food and get adjusted. I didn't go to sleep till 6 in the morning that next morning. But then I guess since I came back, I came kind of already at night. So I got home at 3 in the morning, and I was already tired from travel. So I got right into a normal sleep schedule.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. It took me a little bit to be not tilted that they made me practice on absolutely no sleep. But it was all good.
I would have been kicked off the team first day if you kept me up for 32 hours straight and then said go practice. I would have lost my mind first time someone said anything to me.
Yeah, no, it was definitely interesting. Because the coach is hey, he doesn't know everything yet. He's just his first practice here, so at least he was understanding because I was a ghost of what I usually am. But
did your coach speak English?
So I had a Serbian coach, Igor. I forget his last name Pekovic. But
I was about to say Ilicic?
Nah, he's a Serbian dude. And generally Serbian coaches are known to be super hard ass and stuff. And my coach was, don't get me wrong, he coached us hard, but he was very. It was very different than KU because I feel when you get to the professional level of basketball, it almost swings and the player has more.
For sure, more of the same.
There's no rules over there either, practice wise, right?
No, there's no regulations or anything. It's just about at least about open gym time. About it.
Yeah, so for us, I think there's. I'm not 100% sure, but it wasn't our practice schedule was crazy or anything. I mean, we do 2 days, but at the same point in time, it's very different than when you're in 2 days at KU because 2 days at KU means you're practicing you have schoolwork going on. No, we were just over there straight hoops, so it's kind of not as bad. It's pretty okay,
oh, for sure.
and you're there to hoop.